maybe. Yeah.
There it goes. Hey guys.
Hey, how are y'all? Excited to be here. This is going to be fun.
Yeah, so I'm Tamara Bennett, if you don't know me, if you're watching from Heidi's page. And this is
Heidi from Texas Art and Soul. And we just wanted to spend some time with you. We realized that we both have a workshop at the exact same time, and we thought it'd be helpful. So we wanted to share an easy way for you to make some extra money this fall, some extra side hustle cash or some fun stuff. So we're going to talk about goal setting for a minute, and then we're going to go into a couple of other things. So you want to start us off, Tamara?
Yeah, sure. So I don't know if you guys have kids in school right now, but my goodness, I just had to go buy school supplies for all three of my children. I easily spent $150 at Walmart, and we didn't even get everything that we needed. On top of that, we had to pay for school fees, which was, when you add it all up, over $100 for all three of my children. So back to school is expensive, and that doesn't even count the school clothes. So it got me to thinking about all of you, and you're probably in the same boat I am if you have kids in school, and you're probably needing a little bit extra cash right now, and you're probably already thinking about, oh, Christmas is only a few months away. What am I going to get so-and-so? I already start shopping like this early. I don't know about y'all, but I start shopping really early. And so there's a lot of things that are going to be coming up in the next few months that you might need money for. And Heidi is one of the best people I know to help you teach you how to make extra money doing paint parties. And I know a lot of my people, that's something they really are interested in.
Yeah, it's so fun. So I know the other day I walked into Walmart because I had to go get something, and I just went to a screeching halt once I saw all of the school supplies. I was like, I need new Sharpies. I need new highlighters. And I was like, wait, I'm not here for Sharpies and highlighters. So I put everything back and went and got what I needed. But yeah, hey, everybody. Hey, Wanda. Hey, Tammy. Hey, Diana. And let us know what your goal is, because I know, like Tamara said, like a lot of stuff comes up. And I know for Pixie, this is crazy talk. I can't even believe I'm saying this, but she's doing dual credit for college. So we just had to pay like tuition college fees this year. And I was like, what the heck? Like, this is just crazy. It's just blowing my mind. So little things like that. I know a lot of times money isn't an issue for people, but a lot of times you want to do a fun goal. So what we were thinking would be fun is we want to hear what your goal is. So let's say you wanted to, I know we both have a fall goal. Well, it's this way. It's like a mirror. So it's freaking me out, Tamara. I know we both have a fall goal, and we're going to share those with you. But what is something fun? If you did a paint party and you made, let's say, $300, what is a fun goal that you would want to do with that $300 with your family? So, okay, Tamara, you go first. You go first.
And it wasn't until you said $300 that I knew exactly what my goal was, because I, this weekend, have been looking for a deal on a Blackstone grill. Have you ever grilled on a Blackstone?
I don't even know what you're talking about. I'm microwave food.
It's one of those flat top grills that's like a griddle, and you can make hibachi on it and stuff. Well, we borrowed one from a friend, and I fell in love with it. And now I have to have one, and they're $300. So that would totally be my goal, to raise money to get me a Blackstone grill, because I don't need a grill. I don't have to have a grill. We have another grill, but I like this grill better. So it feels like a frivolous thing that I would be buying just because I want it. So that to me would be a good goal.
That's a great goal for you. I would probably invest in another microwave. There's no way I'm going to be cooking on a grill. No, I do not cook. For those of you that know me, I am the worst cook ever. And Pixie's friend came over yesterday, and I was like, hey, can you get me a frozen spaghetti? Well, her friend was like, I'm going to make y'all spaghetti. And I sat there and ate 3 plates of her friend's spaghetti that she made that was so delicious. I was like, what did Elizabeth put in this? Can we just keep having her cook for us? It's so good. So one of my goals is Pixie, every year we do a big Halloween party. We love Halloween. And so Practical Magic is my favorite movie. If you've ever seen Practical Magic, let me know. And that's awesome. Deborah wants to pay for her grandson's taekwondo. That is awesome. Did I say that right, Tamara?
Yeah, you did. Good job.
Okay. Good. Yay. So one of my goals is whenever we throw her this party, I love having all the money to buy all the pumpkins, because the girls actually take the pumpkins, and we have to get the biggest ones because we cut them and they put them on their head. And then we do this crazy photo shoot where they're like dressed cute in fall clothes. And then they have these creepy pumpkin heads. Oh my gosh. And last year, I don't know if you saw the picture, Tamara. I sliced my hand open trying to like get the pumpkin bigger because the girl didn't make it big enough for her head. So we were at the place where we were going to take the picture. And I was like, here, let me do it. I don't want you to cut yourself. So there's a picture of like blood running down my hand with these creepy pumpkins. I'm like, this is perfect for Halloween. So my goal is to have enough money to buy all the big pumpkins and for all her friends so they don't have to buy them.
That's a great goal. Let's see. I saw that Amber wants to buy some new decor for her home. Buying new couches is also a goal of mine. Eventually, I want to get new living room furniture. So that's definitely something you might want to save up for. And then Kimberly said a family vacation to Gatlinburg. We love Gatlinburg, don't we, Heidi?
I love it. Yes. I'm actually going back there in a couple months. I can't wait. So fun. Okay. So keep telling us your goals. We want to hear them because I think a lot of times we can say, hey, I want to teach a paint party, but until you know you want a cooking device, I don't even know what it's called, Tamara. What is that? Until you know exactly what you're saving your money for and your little side gig, your side hustle, or your creative cash, as I like to call it. And sometimes it's hard to put that to like a name to it. So go ahead and write your goal. Oh my gosh, Rebecca is my favorite. She says, I would put the money to return to Italy.
Ooh,
That's
yes.
my dream vacation, Rebecca.
Stephanie is coming to Southern Adornments Live in 2023. Yay.
Yay, that's awesome. Did you sell all your tickets already?
Yes, we sold out.
Nice.
We're actually working on, and I'm probably not supposed to spill this secret yet, but we're actually working on a little smaller, more quaint Christmas event here in Kentucky in November. So we haven't started spilling the details on that, but I'm excited about it.
Oh, how fun.
Emily wants a glow forge. Yay.
Oh, we have lots of fun stuff. Yeah, Lisa's Italy's on her bucket list too. I'm so hoping I can make that happen soon. One day.
All right. So we all have our goals, and you said a paint party. So that makes me think, like, when I think, okay, I need $300, that I do the paint party math, right? So how many people do I need if I'm going to charge X amount of dollars? So you could decide like how much you're going to charge. Depends on the project you're doing, right? So let's maybe talk about an example project, like that little witch hanging up behind you, Heidi. What would you charge for that at a paint party?
Okay, so I would charge $35. So if you get your paint party calculator out and you have $35, and let's say you have 10 people. Okay, so if I do this math wrong, y'all can just make fun of me.
Keep it round numbers and in increments of 10, and we got this.
So that equals, if you have 10 people, $35 times 10 people, that's $350 minus supplies. And y'all, supplies are so cheap. Even if you're brand new to this, you don't need easels, you don't need aprons, you don't need all of that mess. So I usually say about $60 for supplies. So you're bringing home around $290 just for those 10 people. And I teach how to do prepays. So I'm never out the money before I actually have the party. So that way, like if you're trying to get that Blackstone grill, like Tamara's doing, she just needs 10 more bucks. So guess what? She probably sell a couple of ornaments or something at her paint party while she's there. Or she could just make this into an 11, have 11 people at her paint party, and now she's met her goal.
That's an awesome. I like how you drew it out for us. That really helps visualize it. And having little things like that at your paint party that you can upsell to people, even if it's like, for example, for something like this, you could teach that for $35 and then upsell them the bow for like an extra $5 or an extra $10, and you've made more money.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that picture or that question about, are the paint parties for in-person only? If you have an email list and a following, you can actually do an online paint party. So a lot of times people are like, I'm going to do only online. Well, that's great. And you can totally do that, but you do have to put in the time to build. And when you're doing in-person like this, I mean, you can literally send out messages today and have a booking by the end of the week. And it's like something that can happen so much faster than you think, especially coming into fall.
Yeah. Like if you already have like a craft business and maybe you just haven't been teaching painting, or you've done just a little bit of painting. If you've already got a craft business with an email list of customers, you could say, hey, I'm doing this new thing. I'm, hosting an online virtual paint party. Come and join me. And that would be a really quick win for sure. But I think like that's almost two different customers, the online customer versus the in-person customer. Because for me, when people used to come to my in-person paint parties, they came because they wanted to be at the party. It was a social event and they wanted to come and meet people and have fun and just get away from the kids for a little while and craft and paint. The virtual online painter is probably coming or doing this for a different reason, just to like de-stress, learn some new skills, things like that.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, the reason why we wanted to come on here is we know that there are many of you like right now looking for a side hustle, and you are crafty, you are artsy, or you wouldn't be following our pages because you like to do this stuff. And how many of you here have gone into Hobby Lobby or Michael's and you're like, oh, I could make that. Oh, I got that, right? Like we all are those people that walk into Hobby Lobby and we see all the cute stuff and we know that we can make it. So we're actually doing challenges at the same time. So we thought, why not kind of share a little bit about how we got started and invite you to join both of our challenges. You know, a lot of times we get nervous, like, oh my gosh, I got to actually start a business or whatever. No, like just come in and see what it's like and see if, you know, if you like doing these door hangers, you like doing these canvas paintings and just the possibilities that can open for you just by taking a chance on something. And who knows what'll happen. I always call this a paint party adventure because you never know where it's going to lead you. And so do you want to tell a little bit maybe about your challenge or how you got started, Tamara, and then we'll kind of answer questions?
Sure. So I got started back in 2015. We're dialing it way back. And I was actually pregnant and we needed extra money because my husband had been in the military and he came home from the military. And when he came home, our income kind of went down because when you're on deployment, you're getting more money. So our income went down and it was like, we need more money now. So I was either going to have to go get a job somewhere or figure out a way to make money from home. Well, I had already been doing like small craft parties once a month in my home with some other ladies that were friends of mine. And I thought, you know, there's probably a way to take this and turn it into a business, but do it in other people's homes. And so that's what I started doing. I started saying, hey, you know, if you enjoyed my craft party, host one in your home for your friends and family. I'll bring all the stuff and teach it and you guys can just have a blast. And people were like, sign me up. It was a little slow getting started. I only had maybe 1 or 2 parties a month, but by the fall, because fall is like the prime time for paint parties, in August of 2015, I had 12 parties that month booked. And I was like, this is insane. Like suddenly I was like, I'm making more doing this than I would have if I'd have gone and worked somewhere. This is incredible. And let's see, that summer, I also set up a booth at the local farmers market. So that was another way that I kind of got the word out. I would sit and paint at the farmers market with my designs hanging up behind me. People would say, hey, what is this? You know, and I would have a little thing on the table that said, ask me about booking a paint party. So there's lots of little ways like that you can start to get your first parties going. You could start like I did with just having one in your home with your friends and family. That's probably the lowest barrier to entry, but just don't be afraid to charge for that because I think a lot of people feel like, well, I can't charge my friends and family money for something. Yes, you can. They're probably more than willing to support you in this new venture that you're trying to do.
Yeah, I love that. I love that they just started like it snowballs, right? Like, so you had like a couple, and I think that's where so many people give up before it starts happening. And I'm like, okay, we're about to hit fall. Like, I mean, you can almost just literally like fall into it and it's going to pay you because it's so much potential. So that's awesome. Yeah, we started way back. Okay. So I've been doing paint parties for over 16 years. So since, Pixie's 16 years old. And oh, that's awesome, Becky. Yeah, if you want to sign up for our workshops, I think Tamara has a link or something in the description.
Yeah, and we can tell you about those in just a minute. We wanted to share our backstory with you real quick.
Yeah, we want y'all to know that it takes time to get things going, but there's so much potential. And so back in, oh my gosh, we, you know, for those of you that know my story, we went bankrupt to business owner, lost everything, started doing these little mini surfboards just to kind of heal from feeling like the biggest loser in the world. And then we set up a little booth at Pier Park in Panama City Beach and nobody bought our surfboards. And I was like, what? Like, this is supposed to change my life, all of this. And And I smile when I say bankruptcy now, because it has been the best thing that has ever like happened for us financially. And I know that sounds awful, but after over a decade through it, it's like it taught us so much. It taught us so much about just everything. And so we ended up selling these little surfboards. Nobody would buy them. And then I went across the street to Buffalo Wild Wings to get a drink with my mother-in-law, because I was like, this sucks. What's plan B? What's plan C? Like, this was it. I was not even 30 yet. And then my husband calls and it changed everything. And he's like, get over here. We have orders. And I'm like, you're lying. And so I tipsily walk across the street, because it was right there across the street. And he's got this whole stack of papers and he's like, get to painting. And I just remember like laughing and painting and being like, oh my gosh. But the biggest lesson I got was I felt like I was flat on the bottom. And it was like God, like said to me, I felt like he was like, you're not only going to be able to be okay, but you're going to be able to paint for the rest of your life. And I just I felt those words, and we went on to paint over 1,000 surfboards in under 2 months time. I was the slowest painter in the world. I had to learn to paint fast, sometimes 60 boards a night. And I would paint till 2 or 3 in the morning, because I knew every $20 was a chance towards my family's future. And then that just led to, surfboards, to paint parties. And here we go, teaching other people how to do this. So I think whenever, I know a lot of you out there, you're like, man, you don't understand. My situation is this. I'm like, yes, I understand. I understand a lot. And we all have our own stories. We all have different things that we're struggling or battling. But this is the time, like Tamara said, August, September, October, November, December. We were both teachers, and you can make more money in these 4 months than you can a whole year's salary in teaching if you go get it. I mean, it's out there.
I just love your story. People that we can paint or that we can do these things because we're afraid of judgment. And so, if you paint this design with me, I want you to be a little bit brave and put it out there and post a picture and be like, I'm so proud of this. Look at this new thing that I did. Even if you don't say, I'm trying to sell you this, all you have to do is say, look at this new thing I painted. I'm so proud of it. Guarantee you somebody's going to comment on that and be like, oh my goodness, are you selling this? Can I buy that? Somebody's going to ask you that. And you can be like, yeah, sure. Send me a private message. And you know what? Over in the DMs and the private messages, you can say, yeah, I'll sell you this one. And you can take up orders. They don't have to know that you don't have 10 of these made already. You can sit and take up orders and make more and more and more of them. And I did see a question up ahead. Somebody asked when I got started, how I got my door hangers. So, in order to be able to paint a door hanger, you have to have a wooden piece to paint on. I started with a jigsaw, and my dad showed me how to cut out plywood. I used totally the wrong kind of wood. I used like 1/2-inch thick, really heavy plywood. So that first door hanger was not great, but
it's falling off the door.
Very heavy. But eventually I figured out that I could get 1/4-inch like plywood underlayment that was way better. And with a jigsaw, they were very imperfect. But you know what? With a sanding block or an electric sander, you can correct all kinds of little boo-boos. And you can also hide flaws with a bow. You can get creative and be like, I'm going to put my bow right here because my circle is not exactly a circle. It's got like a little weird bump right here.
That's the bow bump.
It's the bow bump.
No, I think it's so, and there's something so powerful and makes you feel so independent when you have a jigsaw and you're like, hey, I'm gonna go make something. I mean, I remember when we were cutting out our surfboards and like just the feeling of like going from this is a piece of wood to now I'm cutting it into something. Now I've not only cut it, but I've painted it or sanded it and painted it. There's something about just excitement of creating a new project. Like I was talking on a live just a couple days ago about like when I wake up and I know I get to wake up and be creative for my job, right? Like we get to wake up and go, okay, I think as creatives and all of you watching, let me know if this is true for you too. But I think a lot of times when you start to, especially a creative person, when you start to think about problems, but in a creative way. So like, somebody has a problem. Most of the world is like, well, that's not going to work because of X, Y, Z, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, right? They know 15 million reasons why it won't work. But a creative person, we're like, no, we can do it this way, or we can go this way, or we can go up, or we can go down. Like we have 500 ways that we can make it work because we're always like, that's how our brain is wired. And I think that's just such like the potential and the power of what can happen with you over these next 3 to 4 months. I'm excited for y'all.
I see a lot of people are starting to say, Tanya said she signed up for the fall ball.
Yay!
Deanne has signed up for both of them. Now, I know that these are going on at the same time, and Heidi and I did not plan that on intentionally. We both just know that fall's the perfect time for crafting, and everybody's in the mood to make stuff in the fall. And so we thought, okay, we'll do it around this time. That way they've got time to create it, because I like to have it. I like to teach this sort of stuff in August, because people aren't necessarily decorating just yet. But if you go ahead and paint this, then you've got time to make more, sell them at your local fall craft fairs, or host a paint party, whatever you want to do. Or you've got time to make them for family and friends, even if you don't want to sell them. Heidi, why don't we take a minute to kind of explain what each of our workshops is, so that they kind of understand. There's a lot of similarities in them, but there's also a few differences.
Yeah. Okay. So do you want me to go first or you?
Sure, go for it.
Okay. So the fall ball, this is our 3rd year having the fall ball. So I'm so excited. And this year we're doing it a little bit different. So what we're doing is we're having 4 days of fun. So it's $10. So if you think about going to Starbucks, if you order a latte and a pumpkin bread, which I said the other day, I was like, why would you never not order the pumpkin bread? So like, that's already over $10, just one stop at Starbucks. So if you think about that, we're going to have 4 days of fun. We're doing the Witches Be Crazy, but here's what I'm doing a little bit different this time. Instead of me teaching the whole painting at one session, which I know a lot of times it's hard for people to have a 2-hour block, what I'm doing is I'm going to be teaching half of this day 1. Then I'm going to teach you the simplest way to calculate a profit every paint party, how to have money in the bank. So I'll teach you half of it. Then we're going to talk about how to have money in the bank. We're going to do a paint party calculator. And I always give away, I'm sure Tamara does the same, tons of prizes, tons of different fun stuff for you. The second day, we're going to be doing the second part of Witches Be Crazy, and then learning how to book a party using the magic script. So I'm actually going to give you the script that I use still today to book my paint parties. And yes, I still do in-person paint parties. I have a paint party booked for December. Let me see what date it is. I have over 50 people already for this one. It sells out every time. On December 14th at 6 p.m. So like I'm already booking into, that's why me and Tamara are so like, we want y'all to know this in August so you can be getting this stuff ready. Then on day 3, we're going to do the pumpkins, the white pumpkins here, the autumn blue. And then I'm also going to be teaching you how to handle a crowd of any size. And most teachers do not know how to do this. And I'm going to teach you how to do that, because I know public speaking. Let us know in the comments if you're scared of public speaking. It used to be a horrible fear of mine. And then day 4 is the second half of Autumn Blue, and then how and why to use Reels, REELS, for your paint party business, for your marketing, and how that is growing people's business pages like crazy. So we're doing like half painting, half business talk. And the reason why is like so many creatives, we're like so good at creating stuff and making stuff, but then we don't know how to talk about it or sell it. And marketing is like one of my favorite things to talk about. I love talking about that just as much as I love the painting project. So we have a lot in store for you. It's only $10. It starts August 15th through the 18th, and there's replays of everything. So if you can't make it live.
I want to add too that if some of my people are watching this and they're like, whoa, Heidi, that's a lot of business, because Heidi's audience is mostly businesses already, right? And so my audience, maybe they're thinking about starting a business, or they're like, no, I just need some extra cash to pay for, a trip or something. If you're not like wanting to start doing all of it, take what you need now, and you don't know, you may need some of that other stuff later, but pick up on a few of these little tips that Heidi is sharing during her workshop and put those into action. You don't have to do the entire marketing plan and launch a full-on business to make an extra $300.
No, you do not. And just the magic script alone, just that is worth well over $10. And I want to say, Sigrid, I think I'm saying her name right. I have heard this before from people. She says, I would love to have my own classes, but I'm embarrassed in my accent. Here's the thing. You need to lean into your accent. There are people that hate and despise the way I talk. There are people that despise the way I storytell. There's people that like, but then there's a whole other group of people that, I don't feel like I have an accent, but apparently I do, and there's a whole nother group of people that love the way I tell stories and love the way I talk. And there's people that need to hear your accent that can relate to you. And so don't be embarrassed of that. Lean into that.
Yeah, I love hearing people with other accents. I can't always understand everything they say, so I might ask you to repeat something, but I love the authenticity and the uniqueness of everybody's different voice and their accent. It's just so interesting to me.
Yes, for sure. TJ's like, don't be embarrassed of who you are. The right people will come. Yeah, for sure. We need everybody. Like, we need everybody showing God's love and being creative out there. We can't just have two blondes doing it. We need all of you.
Something else I wanted to point out is I was not really truly a painting teacher when I first did my first few paint parties. It was probably a good 6 to 9 months into doing paint parties before I really stepped into my teacher role and felt like I had a really good grasp on teaching. I did the first one scared to death. I'm like, what am I going to do? I walk in here and I just like hand them the paint and I say, well, just start smearing it on there. Like I didn't have all the right words. I didn't have the right way to explain things. I was a hot mess, but they had a good time. And that's the point. If you can help them have a great time, and Heidi always brings the fun at her paint party. She cranks the music up. You get to moving and grooving and just laughing and telling stories and just connecting with other people. You're going to have a blast.
Yeah, it really is about connecting people more than it is about paint. I always say it's not really about paint parties. It's really not about painting. It's about connecting people. And me and Tamara have seen that time and time again in our paint parties. So yeah, definitely sign up. We're encouraging you to sign up for both because we think that, you're looking at $10 and $10 and you're going to have, so much that you're going to learn. So do you want to share about yours, Tamara?
Actually, before we move on to mine, I want you to show them a little bit better what yours look like up close. I'm going to make you a solo layout so you can really show them the difference.
There I am. Okay.
Because part of the benefit to doing both of these workshops is that when you get ready to start doing paint parties, you'll have 4 options to teach right off the bat.
So this one has glitter and I love showing the glitter. So I know not everybody is into witches. This is Witches Be Crazy. It has been very, very popular. We have Annie, one of our paint party headquarter members, that has booked a party for that. And she loves this one. And she's had really good success with this. So she's already booked a party before the workshop has even started. And then this one, we call it Autumn Blue. And you can see a lot of glitter too on that one as I start to move it around. And this one's really fun because you get to kind of use a palette knife and make it your own. And then we also just threw in a bonus one that literally, like, I think I painted it in less than 15 minutes. Wow. But you can do, I just show you exactly how to do it. It's really easy. It just takes a few minutes to paint. So this is just a bonus one that I threw in that's already in there. So as soon as you sign up, you'll see. And I make a huge, Tamara, oh my gosh, I made a huge mistake on this one. And I actually just X through the whole thing. And then I show how I take the X off and turn it into this. So this had a massive black X all over it because I didn't like what I was doing. But yeah, so the 3 options, like Tamara was saying, you're going to have a way to use that magic script and already book your parties with paintings in tow. But also just the value of, maybe discovering something about yourself that you haven't yet. So I'm excited.
Yeah. Okay. So in my workshop, you're going to learn how to paint this on an 18-inch wooden round. And so you can cut that wooden round yourself, or you can pick one up from, your local craft store, or you can get one from us. I did put the link in the description. It's an 18-inch round. It's normally $18, but we've marked them down to $12 so you guys can get them at a discount. And we're going to teach you using a printable template. So if you're, worried about being able to draw any of this, I think Heidi uses, you call yours tracers, right?
Yes, we have tracers for both of these, so don't worry.
So yeah, this makes it super easy because one of my biggest hangups when I started learning how to paint and doing paint parties was my inability to be able to draw things not necessarily to be able to draw, because I could draw something on a sticky note. I could make a nice, but I couldn't draw it to scale. You know what I mean? Like nothing would ever look right when I tried to draw it big. And so I figured out how to create these templates, and it's made everything so much easier. So if you're like that and you can't even draw a stick figure, you can do this. You can use your tracer to put the whole design on there. We've even got the pattern for this thing here, this little cute design in the middle. We don't have a pattern for the leopard print, but that's way easier than you think. I'm going to walk you through it step by step. We're going to do this shabby chic polka dot in the background. And this is just really fun because it's like a fall trendy. It's got fall colors that are really trendy right now.
Hey, and Tamara, make it just you for a second and hold that back up, because I think like I didn't realize it had polka dots.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna see
there
that.
we go. Yeah, so see the polka dots? They're kind of, the reason they're very subtle is because with all the other details on this design, you don't want the polka dots to be the first thing you notice. You don't want them to stand out too much. So they're very subtle.
That is so cute. And you're right, the leopard print, yeah, y'all are going to be surprised at how easy you can do it.
All right, so mine is $10 as well. It's going on the 15th through the 18th, which is next week, every night at 7 p.m. Central. We're going to break it down into steps. And so if you can't join us live, or maybe you're over there watching Heidi, that's totally fine. You can come back and watch mine or watch hers on replay, that or for up at least for a year. So even if you can't like paint it with us right now, maybe you paint it in October, you can do that as well.
Yeah. And that's the thing too. I know we've talked a lot about how to like pick a goal and then make extra money for your goal. But some of y'all are like, I don't really need the extra money or want to do that, but you want to paint with us. You can still join our workshops and just have fun painting with us. We give away a ton of, I know we do tons of like gift card giveaways and prizes. I think Tamara does the same. So
yeah, I've got some paint packs we're giving away. I've got some awesome paint pens we're giving away, and I've got gift cards. It's going to be so much fun.
I'm excited. Okay, so so we've talked a lot about making extra money. We've talked about how to sign up. Both you can sign up in, I think the link's in the description if you want to sign up for either of our challenges. And then also, what questions y'all have? So is there any questions that y'all have that we can answer for y'all?
Oh, here was one right here. Do you pre-trace or have the customers trace at your paint parties, Heidi?
I have them. I trace them beforehand. So we trace everything. So we have them ready. So years ago, I was doing a party and we were doing a reindeer that was a little bit tricky. And so I made 2 poster board cutouts of this reindeer. We had 50 something people at this party. And I was like, well, I better go ahead and trace one of them just to show, have it ready for me and show them. They started coming into the party and I was like, hey, by the way, if you want to use the tracer, the party had to start 30 minutes later because every single person in that room wanted the tracer. And so I was like, oh, ding, ding, like, let's just pre-trace. And so now every time I pre-trace, I always bring an extra like wood piece or canvas that isn't traced just in case. But I promise you, even the artist in the room, which you always have like maybe 1 or 2 that are like really great artists. And even the artists in the room, they're like fine artists. They're like, yeah, I'll take the traced one. It's just an easier way. And then they're able to just have fun and talk about their week and connect with these people instead of trying to like, how am I going to draw this witch's hat without it looking weird? So always pre-trace for your customers.
There's a lot of little things like that you figure out the more parties you do. Like making like if you wanted to pre-sell these bows, somebody asked that question earlier, if you were going to have like an upsell for bows. Yes, make them ahead of time. Anything you can do ahead of time to save time at the party is gold, because you don't want to be there for 4 or 5 hours. You're going to be exhausted.
No. And I love, somebody said, I wish they were on different dates. Well, Margaret, the good news is I'm going to be live in the morning and in the evening. So you could always do my event in the morning and then watch Tamara's at night. Or like we said before, they're going to be on replay. So it's almost like signing up for kind of like a cool Netflix show series, so.
Okay. Jerry had a good question. She said, how do you compete with companies like Painting with a Twist?
Oh, I love this question. Do you want to go first?
No, I knew you would love this question. So I've queued it up for you.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So here's the thing. I had a Painting with a Twist, a couple of miles down the road from me this way, a board and brush that way. A couple of people that did paint parties in my town, they still do. And here's how I feel. Like, anybody like hamburgers? Like, I love hamburgers. Or a better thing, the bread aisle, right? So if you've ever gone down the bread aisle, there's like 5,000 types of bread. There's literally so many types of bread, but they're still all in business. And the reason why is people like certain types of bread, just like they like certain types of paint party people. And I have never, ever approached this paint party business as a one-time transaction. I don't want somebody to come to my event and I'm like hustling them out and get in here, paint, okay, go. Like, I've been to those paint parties before, like a paint night before, where their job is to get you in and out in under 2 hours and try not to make eye contact. Like, that's legit, like what they're trying to do. And so when I approached this paint party business, I was like, my sole purpose in life, I feel like, is sharing God's love through art. Like, that is like the reason I feel like God made me to exist, is to share God's love through art. And so, so when I have a paint party, it is about, I mean, sometimes I don't even paint. Like, I might say the first part of it, but then I'm there talking about what's going on in their life. Like, you know, what do you got going on that's cool? What's happening? You know, I mean, my goal is to help them connect. And so I feel like when you think about your business that way, you're going to have repeat customers that come because they want to see you and they want to see what you're going to offer them and the environment that you're creating for them. And as you start to do this paint party world and you realize there's a whole online paint party world, y'all, I don't need 1 million people to teach paintings to make a decent living for my family. And we all just need a few paint parties to reach our goals. And so when you start stop thinking, I mean, me and Tamara right here could be like, we're not going to talk about each other's challenge. There's no way. We're not going to talk about each other's workshops. This isn't, you know, but we know that there are plenty of you. Some of you are going to connect to Tamara, and, you know, some of you are going to connect to me, and some of you are going to connect to both of us, because I think we're both cool. So why not? But it's really not about competition. And when you take out that competition, it releases a lot of pressure. Number one. I mean, I know for me and Tamara, we don't feel competitive at all. Like, I mean, yes, we're competitive business people, but not towards each other. We're like, hey, how can we support each other? Yeah. You know, and when you go with it that route, I think it just opens up so many more possibilities. So I know I could go all day. So maybe you take it from there.
Well, I like the saying, you can't outgive God. Oh. And so if I give some attention to Heidi's workshop on my page and she gives attention, you know, vice versa, like, God is just going to pay me back for that in spades. You know, it's, and so when you support another person's business or give, even if it's just a compliment, if you give a compliment to somebody else, you're going to receive something in that transaction. You're going to feel good about yourself for having complimented someone else. And so, yeah, that when you said that about sitting and talking with people at paint parties and getting them to talk about their lives and connecting, that's your secret sauce right there. I always felt like encouragement was one of my secret sauces. I love to walk around and make people feel good about the art that they're creating. And I would say, I love how you're doing this or that, or I love how you added glitter here. I didn't think to do that, you know? And so encouraging people at the party made them feel good about themselves. And they always came back for another party because they liked my teaching style and the way that I encouraged them. And,
yeah. I wrote it down so I can put it up on my wall.
I love that.
You can't outgive God. And I think too, being kind, you know, a lot of times we think that, kindness is just everywhere. It's so not. Oh my gosh, it's so limited everywhere you go. I was just telling a story about being at the airport for me and Bobby's 25th wedding anniversary. And the guy was so mean to me. And I was like, I'm just going to keep smiling and I'm going to see if I can break him. Like, I'm going to see if I can break him into kind. And he just kept yelling at me to like, no. And I fly every month. And I was like, you know, I was taking my laptop out and he was yelling at me to not take my laptop out. And I'm like, oh my gosh, the last 17 times I've flown, like I'm supposed to take my laptop out and he's yelling. And I'm like, did I do a good job? I was trying so hard to like reflect kindness versus his aggravation. And so I think really just being kind to people, Tamara displays this so awesome all the time. I've never seen her not kind to a person. And so I think y'all going out there and teaching paint parties. I remember my brother going, why are you teaching other people how to do this? And I was like, There's
They don't
only
get
one
it.
of me. Yeah, I was like, there's only one of me. Like, but what if everybody's out there being kind and teaching? Like, what kind of world could we make if we're all out there sharing God's love through art? Like, how cool would that be? So it's pretty fun.
Yeah. Lorraine asked, she said, I signed up for both. And then she wanted to know if she can resize this design to 15 inches. So I bet Heidi does this as well. When you go to print it out, you can reduce the scale. So normally if you want an 18-inch circle, we would say, make sure your printer settings are set to 100% scale. But if you want it smaller, dial it back to like 80% or something. Just kind of play with it and see what size you get. So, if you have a smaller canvas than like what Heidi's working with, you could probably reduce the scale on her templates as well.
Yeah, for sure. And I think we have two sizes. I think we have the 16 by 20 and the 11 by 17. A lot of times at paint parties, especially when, I heard someone ask, what price are you charging for these? And we talked about, our paint party calculator of $35 for like a 16 by 20. And you could always do $30 for an 11 by 14 or 11 by 17, but I wouldn't go much lower just because you're still going to spend pretty much the same amount of time, even though it's just a little bit smaller of a canvas.
And don't get hung up on what you would pay to do that at a party. I think a lot of times people think, well, I wouldn't pay $35 to paint that because you can paint it at home anytime. Of course, you wouldn't pay to go paint that exact design at a workshop. But people are way more willing to pay for something like this because it's an experience. It's going to a party. They're not just paying for the class of learning how to paint it. They're paying for the night out, essentially.
Right. Yeah. And it's all about the experience. So make the experience fun. We have a paint party playlist that's like hopping so that, they're immediately always having fun and just always like, how can you make the experience awesome? One of our members, she actually if she's painting a vintage spring bike, she finds a vintage spring bike she can borrow and brings it. And in that way, she has like this cool photo prop along with her stuff. I know it's so creative. And I thought, how fun is that? Just that extra little touch that sets you apart from everyone else.
That's awesome. There was somebody else, I forget who it was, that was telling that they do paint parties and they do a drawing or something. And if you draw, I don't know, like they have like these little question baskets and people like pull a question out and they answer the question or they have to perform the talent that's on the thing. I don't know, just ways to kind of like increase the like laughter in the room and to make everybody laugh. Oh, I know what it was now. I was trying to think. I was like, how did it exactly go? So if Heidi, for example, won the drawing, in order to receive your prize, Heidi, you would have to perform a talent for us. So at the front of the room in the paint party, they would have to just randomly do like whatever their crazy talent is. So you might be like a dance move, or you might be like, look, I can do a handstand or a cartwheel, or I can sing a little song for you. I think she had like a few suggestions written out so that they didn't have to come up with something off the cuff. But she said it always was like people's favorite thing at the parties because it was something that made everybody kind of loosen up and laugh.
I love that. So it's like if they win the door prize.
If your name is drawn, you have to perform like your hidden talent for everybody in order to receive your prize.
Okay, so I know what my hidden talent would be for performing. What would yours be?
Mine would be a cartwheel. I can still do a cartwheel.
Good
I might break my wrist now, but I can still do one.
Hey, you did one at Dollywood.
Right, yeah. Or I could sing. I can sing too.
You're really good at singing.
Thank you.
Yeah. You need to sing next summer together. I would juggle. I'm a freakishly good juggler. Yeah. It's like strange.
That's funny because I always feel like you laugh and say you're clumsy. So how are you clumsy and you can juggle?
I am clumsy. I am very clumsy. I sprained my ankle walking down some steps. Like I'm very clumsy, but I can. So when I was, so y'all, this is going way back. I was a twirler, like baton twirling. And so I could juggle 3 batons in the air. And so I just got really good at it. So now I just like, anytime there's oranges or apples around, I just grab them and start juggling them. And people are always like, what? I'm like,
okay,
yeah.
You're going to have to show me this when we're at the beach together in a couple of weeks.
I will show you. And then you can sing while I juggle. And then
maybe we should do, Sarah would totally, I'm like coming up with a fun idea, but Sarah would not be into this. We should do a creative club talent show.
My head is exactly where yours was. I was like, yes, this is the best idea.
Sarah would be like, I'm out. I'll be the judge. That is all.
She can be the judge while we do our stupid.
She's not even on here to defend herself. Oh.
Oh my gosh. Okay, questions. Let's see. I saw somebody ask what I'm doing in the workshop. So these are the paintings behind me, and then half of it is business talk. So paintings and then business. So paintings, business. You'll also learn the importance of reels. And I know that's been a hot topic, and how to do reels.
Robin wants to know, what do you do if it's a fundraiser? Do you keep the same price when you're charging for it? I know I used to like charge, I think I charged like $10, $5 more, I think. But that's what it was. It was $5 more. So if a normal paint party was $35, I would charge $40. But then I think I gave them like $10 per person. So I'm giving up $5 of my profit, but the other $5 is coming from the upcharge. So what do you do, Heidi?
That's exactly what I do. So if my party, so if my party's 35, then I'll say, okay, we'll charge 40. Because if you charge too much, then people won't even sign up for the fundraiser. So I'll say 40, and then I'll take, $5 off of my price. So I'll still get $30. But the biggest thing with fundraisers is make sure it says like $10 per ticket is going to the fundraising cause. You never want to do a fundraiser where people think that all of it is going there. I'm always very, very like bluntly upfront on the flyer that says $10 per ticket is going towards the fundraiser. And then I take 30 and then $10 of it goes towards it. So you charge 40.
Yeah. Something else I did was I increased my minimum requirement of people for the party. So if they're wanting to make money off of this party as a fundraiser, I'm going to require, like, I think my minimum requirement used to be back in the day, I haven't done paint parties in a long time, used to be 10 people. So then I increased it to like 15 for a fundraiser, or if it, just so I would make sure you have enough people to make it worth your time, because you are taking $5 right off the top of your profit to give to this cause.
Yeah. Yeah. And another thing too, always be okay with small parties. I always say like big connections come from small parties. So I had a party of 4 that was like literally like across the road from my house. It took me like 3 minutes to get there, and I was going to cancel. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go do it. It's 4 people. We're just gonna have a fun night. It's already happening. And because of that, I ended up getting a private party where they tipped me like $75 extra. And her and one of her friends kept coming to all my monthly restaurant parties. So from that one party of 4, I ended up getting, several $100s from other parties. So it was really good.
Yeah, because, and with a small group like that, you were able to give them more attention than if it was a big room with 40 people. And so you probably really impressed them that night, and they wanted to do more business with you in the future. Lisa was asking about taking up money in advance. You said you always do that. So do you have any advice to give on that front?
Yeah, she says, been doing paint parties for 10 years. I usually say at least 5. Yeah, so I always do prepays. Oh my gosh, I have made every mistake in the book when it comes to paint parties. And I used to say, oh, just show up, it'll be fine. And I realized people just, if they have not paid, they're not coming. And so you might have those few stragglers, but really always have prepays. So you could do like an early bird sign up. So if you sign up by this date, you get $5 off. Another thing too is when you use the magic script, which we teach you inside the challenge, it teaches you how to book a party with people that you don't know. So that, I teach you how to find, country clubs and places like that already have a built-in audience. So if a country club already has an email list going out to 300 people, for example, and they already have ladies that usually meet and they're looking for fun stuff to do, then you can have them prepay, and you're not having to worry about, especially if you're brand new, trying to find these people. The country club is already got an audience. And so a lot of times that's the hardest part of this, is getting butts in the seat. But if you go the method that I teach, you find these locations that already have people that are wanting to gather and do fun things. And then you do prepays, or the country club, for example, on one of mine, she does all the marketing. I still teach there usually 4 times a year. She does all the marketing, and all I have to do is call and say, okay, what's the head count? And if the head count is at a certain number, the party's a go. If the party is not at a certain number, I say, oh, I'm sorry, that's not going to work. We're not going to be able to make it happen. And then we just cancel it. And the biggest thing I want to tell you, a canceled party does not mean you're a failure. You're going to feel like, oh my gosh, it was so good. And then I had a canceled party and now it won't want. It's just part of the business. Mm-hmm. It's just part of it. You're going to have parties that are very successful and you're going to have parties that cancel. Once you realize it's not personal, it's just business and you just keep moving on. Think of a restaurant who has a slow night. They don't all of a sudden shut the doors and go, oh, we're never going to have people come and eat our nachos again. No, they're going to come. It just might not be Taco Tuesday. I don't know. So like you just got to keep going for it.
Okay, a few questions. Debbie wants to know if they participate in both, do we have access to Heidi's like we do Tamara's? How long do they have access to these videos, Heidi?
Yeah, so we say a year as well. We keep the group open for about 2 to 3 weeks. Mm-hmm. And the group, it's in a Facebook group, a private Facebook group, and that's where it's all housed. And so we basically archive it at the end of August, but you can still get in there and watch all the videos.
Same for us. Yeah, we do the same exact thing. And we say at least a year. We try to make it available for longer than that. But, you know, with Mark Zuckerberg changing things every 5 minutes, I can't guarantee it'll be for life, you know.
Right. Yeah. And for $10, y'all, lifetime access is a little. I mean, come on.
Okay. Would doing a paint party be considered a service or a merchandise? I would say it's a service.
Service. Yeah.
Yeah.
Service. And then taxes. Yeah, taxes. I always tell people to go to their local CPA. Always. I don't want to get you in trouble. I can teach you everything there is to know about paint parties, and I can teach you with my eyes closed and blindfolded and everything. But when it comes to taxes, everybody's state, country is different. So always go to a local CPA.
I agree. Okay. Daphne says, I want to do my first paint party at the end of September. Should I be advertising now? I would say so. Yeah.
Yeah. I would start putting out some feelers, especially if you have an email list. Anybody who is doing paint parties, you should have door prizes where they're giving you emails or text messages so that, again, you can tell your future customers about that.
The kids have now come in to join me in the craft room. So
yay! They got to say hi.
Charlie, do you want to come say hi? She's hiding underneath the desk. We'll see if she'll come out in a minute.
Hi, Charlie.
I'm using the next.
Okay. Heidi wants you to come say hi.
Hi. How are you? Where's your pillow blanket?
Oh, it's in my room.
Really
She's
cool.
starting school in 2 days. She cannot wait.
I'm trying out the neck stretchy.
Oh, okay. She's using my neck pillow to stretch her neck out. Brett, do you want to say hi?
Ow. What?
Do you want to say hi? Come here. Come say hi to the ladies. This is Brett.
I'm hungry.
Hey, Brett. Hi. You were so helpful at your mom's event. You did so good.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. That's all he said. Uh-huh.
You got stuck with us with the art shattered with all the Cindy's glass for a while.
I know. They did so good. I was such a proud mama that day.
You should be. He was, anything I asked, he was like, he was just do it. He was so, so respectful. So you're doing good, Tamara.
Okay. I see one more question, then maybe we can probably wrap this up. Robin wants to know if you have helpers come and help you, how much do you pay your helpers at paint parties?
Do you want to answer that one or you want me to?
Well, so for me, back in the day, it was my mom that would come with me. And so, a lot of times if I just bought her dinner or paid her a little bit per hour, it wasn't hardly anything. It might've been like $8 or $10 an hour. And if it's a 2-hour party, that's $20. It's not that bad. But she was just glad to be there and supporting me. Nowadays, I would probably have the kiddos come and help me. And a lot of times you can pay them by bribing them to take them out for ice cream or something like that. But, if you want an actual employee to come and help you, you would just have to agree, I guess, on an hourly price. So what do you do, Heidi?
Yeah, so Pixie's been helping since she was 5 at my paint parties. And I knew if I just kept having her help me, she would just get really good at it. And when she was 10, she taught her very first paint party of 30 grown women because I had lost my voice. I'd already gotten all the prepays for it and I didn't want to have to give refunds. And so Pixie taught it while I walked around and kind of supported her. So I would say hiring your kids, we always had a deal. Like when she was 5, I'm like, I'll pay you $12. We had certain cutoffs. And if you do a good job, you get a bonus or whatever.
Good grief, children. It was a chair falling over. It's fine.
Is everybody okay in the Bennett household? So I would have, if you're hiring people that, want a decent wage, I would say I usually do $15 an hour. But I know but I want them to want to come back. So usually I do $15 an hour. And then I recommend if you have 10 people, like if you're nervous, get a helper. But if not, for every 10 people, get one more helper. Just so I want it to feel like the helpers are almost bored because it's taken care of so well.
That's a good rule of thumb. I think I used to not have a helper unless I had 20 people. And then once I got used to having a helper, even if it was over 15, I was like, I think I'll have my helper come, because it's just really nice not being the only go-to person in the room. And my mom, she's not the kind of person who's going to like teach, but she could definitely help you make a bow. She could definitely help take up money if anybody was paying for something. She was really good at helping people find supplies they needed. So it was just an extra person for somebody to come to with questions.
Yeah, and nothing's worse than when you have walked. I always wear cowboy boots to my paint parties. So after I've walked around for 2-3 hours with cowboy boots, like I don't want to wash paintbrushes. So if I have somebody there I've paid, I'm like, make sure all the brushes are washed, and then I don't have to worry about that when I get home.
Yes, for sure. Oh, well, this was fun, Heidi. Thank you for hopping on and talking about our workshops together. So if you haven't signed up for the Pumpkin Trio workshop, it's starting next Monday, as well as Heidi's on August the 15th. Both of the workshops are $10. Heidi's, you're going to learn a little bit of painting and some business with paint parties. Mine, you're just going to learn how to paint this Pumpkin Trio workshop. But I think there's a lot of benefit to doing both, even if you can't join us both live, because obviously some of it's going on at the same exact time. But do you have any final words, Heidi?
I think y'all could probably talk Tamara into singing at her workshop. I'm going to try to talk her into singing when we're together in a couple of weeks, because I just love her voice. It's so beautiful. So yeah, I think just, figuring out your goal. I think that's the biggest thing. It's hard to kind of know where to go if you have no goal or no thing in mind. But like, once you have a goal of like, oh my gosh, I want to make $300 and pay for, my nieces and nephews' Christmas. I don't know, whatever that goal looks like for you. I think that ends up like energizing the whole thing. And so make sure you have a goal in mind first, and then sign up for the challenges so we can help you with the rest. So I'm excited. Thanks for having me on here. And y'all, thanks for being a part of all of this.
This was fun. I did see 2 quick questions. So Samantha asked, what is Heidi's group? Heidi's membership is Paint Party Headquarters, and mine is the Painters Clubhouse. So Deborah was asking about how do you sign up for Painters Clubhouse? You actually can sign up right after joining the workshop. So there'll be a spot to do that. Heidi, how do they get into Paint Party Headquarters?
Yeah, so same thing. So this is our big fall opening. So if you want to be a part of Paint Party Headquarters, you can sign up with the with Paint Party with the fall ball. And if you're a part of Paint Party Headquarters, you do not have to pay $10 for the fall ball, and it's included. So it's for free. So if you do join the fall ball and you immediately join Paint Party Headquarters, I'll gladly give you your $10 back. That's fine.
And same goes for my group. If you're a member of Painters Clubhouse, do not pay for it. You get in it for free. So not in Heidi's, but in mine. So
yeah.
Just sign up for the other person's. It'll be fun. All right, y'all, we're going to wrap this up. The kids are obviously demanding attention. Charlie is tearing through my trash can down under the table.
Oh, fun.
So it's so distracting in here. So I'm going to let y'all go. All right. Thanks, Heidi.
All right. You're welcome. Y'all have fun. We'll see you inside the workshops.
Okay. Bye, everybody.
Bye, y'all.